Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today, wow, Blizzard has just announced one of the biggest changes that they have ever talked about or done here in Classic WoW. This is crazy. You know, they've always done like no changes and sort of went with that, but they're finally deciding to change it. So here we go. This is the post right here. It says, pretty much Black Lotus scarcity has been consistently among the top issues we've seen about player feedback in Classic WoW. So they want to address an update to handle how Black Lotus spawns. Since the launch of Classic, the game has used the spawn times and locations from the original WoW, but because of population, social factors, and a lot of other things that's making people create Lotus Mafias, people having 5, 10, even 40 accounts to cover every single Lotus spawn in the game is creating a huge monopoly, mafia factor, whatever you want to call it. It's leading to prices upwards of 300 to 500 gold across servers for Flasks as well as these Lotuses. And so the biggest thing that jumps out to me is that Black Lotus, around a technical limitation, it was planned around that, only spawn 10 locations per node type could be active in the same zone at the same time. So they're removing that limitation, and it gives us the design intention they can work with. Black Lotus was supposed to spawn in the widest variety of locations, and there could only be one up at a time in each zone. So that's what they are changing. I honestly don't know what this means. This was just an hour ago. I don't know how drastically this is going to impact Lotus. You know, we might be able to see multiple Lotus spawned up. But to me, what I think is definitely the best, instead of camping the Lotuses, is these farming routes. I've covered all the Herbalism farming routes in my herb guiding videos. Especially if they can have a Lotus. I mentioned them. Only 5 zones can have Lotuses, so it's not that difficult to sort of cover. But I really feel like those paths and going along those, hitting the Lotus spawns and the other herb spawns is going to be huge in order to get these Lotuses. Now, two things jump to my mind immediately, and we've already seen implications on my server here. Dreamfoil, as well as Grom's Blood and Mountain Silver Sage. Those are the core things for Flasks. Right here, you see it's at 75 gold per. That's because I haven't scanned the auction house since this announcement was made. It has already jumped Dreamfoil has already jumped to 2 gold per. That is just ridiculous. It's already seeing a 200% increase. And Grom's Blood will be right behind it, as well as Mountain Silver Sage. Those are the 3 other herbs that have a interaction when we look at flask making. Now, something that I think is going to happen, Lotus is definitely going to go down. There's more demand. There's going to be maybe more demand for them, but the scarcity of Lotus is going to be there. So there's going to be less demand for Lotus specifically, but there's going to be more demand for Flasks because Lotuses are going to be more common, and Lotus is what makes up the majority of that Flask price. Now, 2 things I want to mention. As I mentioned, getting those herbs is going to be huge, but also making the Flasks. I think you will make a lot of money because there's going to be a lot more people wanting a Flask made because it's more affordable now. And you're going to see a lot of people be able to go and look for people. Right now, it runs about 15 gold to run into BWL to make a Flask. If you have anyone that raids, if you raid BWL consistently with the guild, I do that. I can bring my priests in there, even if I'm not raiding on my priests that week. You know, we do have alt raids going, so sometimes I raid on my priests and I'll make them then. Or I can just go get my priest locked and then make the Flasks for people by entering a cleared BWL instance for that alchemy table. Obviously, a mage would be best just for the sheer teleporting abilities, just to go in there and make a bunch TP. But this has always been a great investment. But that Black Lotus is just, it's such a crazy change, you know. I'm happy for it. It kind of sucks for the people who legit were going out there and grinding. But, you know, there's a huge botting issue. There's a post that went viral like last week or 2 weeks ago, someone was claiming that people were just selling them for like a Lotus was $10 US. Like people were just selling it for real money. And, you know, obviously botting is going to happen in WoW. Any MMO that has an economy and can be tied to the real world, you're going to see people botting. I would just recommend, if you think someone's botting, just give them a report, because the people that are out here doing it, hard work, it takes away from that. And that's where I feel bad. Like, the people who are actually going out there legitimately, if they want to pay $100 a month to have 5 people in a zone, all herbing, you know, if they put in the time and effort for it, you know, I actually don't have a problem with those people doing that. I actually kind of feel a little bit bad for them, because they've probably stockpiled tons. They've put in a lot of money in order to get them, and it's just kind of ridiculous. I feel bad for them, but at the same time, you know, we have to address that botting situation. It's creating such a terrible, unfair sort of market for people, and you know, this will actually let people flask, you know, the more casual people who don't have hours and hours and hours to put into classic WoW every day. It will let them be able to get these awesome flasks. And if you're a caster, you know, mage, priest, warlock, those 3, they all need Flask of Supreme Power. Like, you're not going to parse or do really good in any fight without that, comparatively to the people that are trying. I think it just opens an awesome gate for a lot of people who maybe wanted to raid but didn't have the time to farm all the buffs, farm all the flasks, and stuff like that. Just to sort of wrap this up and cover another subject, with Phase 5 coming out, and this is a huge shift for things I might have said for prepping with Herbalism in past videos, for what you should do with herbing. Now, I've definitely hammered farming Firebloom. I've showed you every Firebloom farm I know, but I think Firebloom's going to spike even more than what I initially predicted, because Flasks, like the profit margins of Flasks, I think are going to drop a lot. We're going to see a huge drop. What I don't know is if herbs like the Dream Foil and the other herbs, Plague Bloom and Mountain Silver Sage, are going to see the same spawn rate changes. I hope they do, because if you just make Lotus but don't change those, then those become harder to get, and like the people who have put in so much time, they're gonna change the market to match that. Like, they're not going to lose money whatever way, whatever part of their flasking is in there, they're not going to lose too much money, because they're really, really smart and economical like that. But when we come to Phase 5, you know, a lot of these Black Lotus prices and prep and farm like that were for flasking and AQ, because AQ and Nax are the 2 raids where you probably actually need a flask to make it go a lot better. And so a lot of people have been prepping for that since Phase 4 is sort of, we're hitting that plateau point where people have pretty much done everything you can in Phase 4. They're running out of content to do, so they want to farm gold. And that's the flask fall off, as well as the rise of Firebloom is going to be huge. I would recommend farming Firebloom if you were someone who was lotusing. Firebloom is going to be insane for those greater fire pots, as well as the mana oil. Another thing is large brilliant shards. Save up, stockpile those. Those are going to jump. When it comes to epics, I've shared my thoughts on epics from MC and BWL coming. I don't really know what they're going to do. I've definitely talked with a lot of you in the comments. Most of you guys actually seem like that they're not going to go into Nexus Crystals, but you know, Nexus Crystals is up there too. You know, it's just a huge speculatory factor. I can't say what Blizzard is going to do with them. We can only just take a guess. And so that's pretty much what I would recommend doing with Herbalism, guys. With these changes, this is a huge, huge change to Black Lotus. Like, they haven't really done anything like this outside of phasing and dynamic spawning for Devil Sword back in Phase 1. So that was a huge mafia. They're breaking up the Lotus Mafia as well, and I'll have updated Herbalism guides for Lotus. We'll cover all the zones once this hotfix is implemented. I just can't do it yet. We don't really know it as much. I know as much as you guys just from reading that post. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on Black Lotus and everything with that. And yeah, I hope you have a great day, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. If you happen to find anyone that you know would also benefit from watching this video, please share it with them. It helps me out a ton and allows me to keep doing what I love every single day, and that is gaming and sort of helping people any way that I can. So finally, thank you so much, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Goodbye.